saying shh, to get people to shh. Welcome to all of you, first and foremost, to Liverpool, and welcome back to Liverpool, for those of you that may not have been in the city for a little while. And welcome, of course, to our fabulous new Tongue Auditorium. We hope you enjoy the ceremony this afternoon. I'm just going to deliver a few short housekeeping announcements and give you a bit of information about how the ceremony is going to run this afternoon. So, first and foremost, housekeeping. We don't have a fire drill planned for this afternoon. Why on earth would we do that? So, if you do hear the fire alarms, then if you make your way to the nearest exits, which are either the exit that you came through at the top or either of the two exits here at the front of the auditorium, and ushers will be on hand to lead you to the muster point. So, the ceremony, how is it going to work? Well, the graduates, I'm hoping you've all got your name cards with you. Let's see some nods of heads, please. Yeah, excellent. Maybe a few wave. Yeah, excellent. Good work. If you don't, then don't panic. We'll have people on hand to make sure that you do. But if you could bring your name card with you when you are led towards the stage, then that would be great. When the time comes to be presented with your degrees here on the stage, you will be lined up here and you will hand your name card to the person that will be stood here. Your name will be read. There'll be a round of applause. Now, those of you that may have graduated before, you're all postgraduates here today, you may remember that we used to shake hands. We used to ask you to shake hands with our presiding officer. We're not going to ask you to do that today for reasons I probably don't need to explain. But instead, graduates, what we're going to ask you to do is to doff your caps. You have no idea what I'm talking about, have you? No idea. It's really easy, don't worry. So your name will be read out. There'll be a huge round of applause, of course, as you're walking across the front here. And as you pass the presiding officer in the centre of the stage here, you'll just touch the tip of your mortarboard and bow your head in his direction, and he will acknowledge you in return. Okay? So there's no need for any sort of elaborate taking off the hats and bowing and curtsying or whatever. I'm not going to stop you if you really want to. That's absolutely fine, but you don't obviously need to. It's just a simple nod of the head, and he will nod in return. So the rest of you, guests of graduates, you have probably the most important role, I think, today, possibly, and that is that when every graduate is presented and walks across the stage, we want you to give them each a round of applause. In fact, we don't just want you to applaud, we want you to cheer, we want you to whoop, we want you to holler, we want you to be as loud as you possibly can. You know, this is a new space. Apparently the acoustics are fantastic. I'm sure they cost a lot of money. So let's test them out. So, in fact, before we start, just make sure we can assess the energy in the room. Do you want to all give me your loudest possible round of applause, please? That sounds pretty good. Now, the bad news, of course, is that you're going to have to do that about 110 times, something like that. If you can keep that energy up for each one, then I'm sure we're in for a terrific ceremony this afternoon. A few other short notices before we begin. I'm sure you'll all be wanting to take photos and record parts of the ceremony, and of course you're very welcome to do that, but can I ask that you please remain seated throughout, just so you're not obstructing the views of other guests. This is always a good opportunity to remind you that the ceremony is being recorded and it is being streamed live on the internet when we begin. More terrified faces there at the front. So if anyone not able to be here today didn't know that, then you might just want to drop them a message and say that they can watch this live at liverpool.ac.uk/graduation. And then finally, or a couple of final things rather, on the subject of photos, I'm sure you've all been taking thousands of photos across campus today, and those of you inclined to want to post them on social media, don't forget that if you tag them with the hashtag #LiveUniGrad, then you'll be able to pick up free prints of those photos from the Mountford Hall when you return there after the ceremony. And so, finally, could I ask you all to just have a quick check of your sort of mobile devices and any other devices that might make noise and put them on silent for the duration of the ceremony. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Graduates and guests, can I ask you all please to stand and give a round of applause for your senior officers of the University of Liverpool.
Please be seated. I declare this congregation for the celebration of our graduates open. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to your graduation ceremony. It's great to see you all here in person after what's been a long, long winter. So I'm Professor Tom Whalley, and I'm standing in for Louise Kenny, who's the EPVC of the Faculty of Health and Life Sciences. So what I want to say, first of all, is what a tremendous privilege and pleasure it is to be here with you today as we celebrate this important milestone in your lives, together with your families and your fellow students, your lecturers, some of whom are up here, and with all those who've supported you on your journey to graduation through the University of Liverpool. Your graduation ceremony is a day to celebrate your achievements with your family and friends. You are all Masters of Research graduates, but your specialties cross a wide range of topics across the very broad area of biomedical sciences and translational medicine, cancer research, bracket basic and clinical, close bracket, pharmacology, drug safety, neurobiology, women and child health, basic molecular mechanisms of human disease, or clinical sciences focusing in particular on aging and chronic disease and infection, or healthy aging. I have to read all that lot out, I can't remember it easily. But it reflects the variety of courses you've participated in. And of course, you've come here from a variety of routes. Some of you are University of Liverpool undergraduates, and you probably feel you've been here forever. Some of you are intercalating, and you're not done with us yet. And some of you have come from outside the University of Liverpool, and you're very welcome here today. So even with that kind of diversity of pathways here and future career pathways and learning experiences, there's a lot you have in common, not least how you feel on a day like this. So I remember when I graduated in medicine in another university, how did I feel that day? So I felt relieved and proud to have finished my studies. I felt really sad to be giving up my student ways and to have to go and actually do some serious work for a while. And I felt quite apprehensive about what the future held for me, because I didn't really know, and I certainly did not predict that someday I'd be standing up here talking to graduates, being the most gorgeously dressed person in the room. So you never quite know where you're going to end up, and if you really want to, you could be up here too someday. So you, of course, have had a different experience to what I had as an undergraduate, because you've been students at a time like no other in history. Students in universities all over the country, all over the world, have had their education disrupted by the pandemic. And this has been particularly difficult for those of you who've had to depend on laboratory time or field work to actually complete your courses. You've all become experts on online delivery of education. You're probably sick to death of Zoom teleconferences. But most importantly, many of you will have developed online communities of learners. So your university experience has been very different to what we would have expected normally, and what you indeed would have hoped for before you came to university. And I'm very conscious that a lot of the time this will have been very, very tough for you. Your experience and your well-being has been at the forefront of our decision-making ever since the pandemic began. But we've had to, over the past 2 years, we've had to carefully weigh up how we deliver courses, what the teaching arrangements might be, even things like your safety on campus. So we know it's not been easy for you. We know you've had long days and sleepless nights and difficult times. It's hard enough being a student at the best of times, particularly on an MRes course, but all these have been exacerbated by these unique global circumstances. That, of course, puts your achievements in an even greater frame, and it's remarkable what you've managed to achieve despite the difficulties you've had to overcome. One thing is certain: over the past year and more, every single one of you has shown remarkable spirit and dedication to your work. You've demonstrated your learning through all of this. You've persevered with commitment, with resilience, and with flexibility. You didn't do it alone, of course, although no doubt there have been many lonely and even scary times for you over the past 12, 24 months. But you did it by supporting one another and with the support of your families and your friends, and in some cases with your fellow professionals, and of course with the teaching staff here at the university. So we in the university, and here I can speak for the whole university because there are several schools represented here, we're immensely proud of the manner in which you've demonstrated adaptability, perseverance and commitment to your studies. We're inspired by you and by what you've achieved over that time. And I'd invite your family and friends to applaud you now for what you've actually managed to do. Now today is all about you and your phenomenal achievements and your personal successes here at the University of Liverpool. But it's also a day to look to the future and feel excited about your aspirations and your career or your future study plans. One thing the pandemic has shown us is that we never know what the future is going to hold. But it's also shown us that advances in science are going to be key to helping us get through whatever difficulties the world and life will throw at us in the future. You here today are all postgraduates who've spent time developing your research skills, perhaps with the view to go on to a career in research or to enhance your ability to deliver your day job in some form. So while the timing of your studies has been difficult and challenging, I hope that you feel entirely justified in your decision to proceed to postgraduate study. Now, one thing the pandemic has done, of course, as well, is to make sure that the woman and the man on the street understand the importance of research in health and life sciences like never before. Everyone is an expert in epidemiology. Everyone understands what an R number is, how to draw an exponential curve, and maybe the basics of clinical trials. So, vaccines and drugs to combat and manage COVID-19, every single one the product of intense research activity, has been vital in enabling a return to something approaching normal life. Many of you have perhaps worked on aspects of the pandemic as part of your research during the past 12 to 18 months. But there's a continued need for research into COVID-19, whether it's about long COVID or pandemic effects in mental health and vulnerable groups, or how we learn to manage pandemics in the future, or public health issues around how we address health inequalities, which have been made very stark by the pandemic. And of course, the need for research is not just in COVID. Let's not forget some of the other great challenges that are facing us, like climate change, antimicrobial resistance, to name just a few, and the impacts, for instance, climate change could have on food production and biodiversity. So we have to understand how interlinked we all are as individuals, and how the sciences and the huge range of topics you've covered are all interlinked. And whether it's across mental health and the behaviour of individuals or populations, public health, or more fundamental biomedical or clinical sciences. The pandemic has illustrated how interdependent we all are. So whether it's the risk of a future pandemic, or the realities of climate change, or the threat posed by antimicrobial resistance, it's clear that huge challenges await us in the future and await you in your future careers. And we don't quite know what they are yet. But looking at you and knowing the courses you've gone through, I'm confident of your ability to actually rise to that challenge and to meet whatever life throws at you in the future, and to be part of the solutions to all these difficulties. Now, I don't talk about the pandemic and climate change to dampen down what should be a day of celebration, but rather in the spirit of optimism and gratitude that you've taken on these challenges, knowing that the world needs researchers in biomedical and clinical sciences who can adapt to that changing world. In your careers, you will see new problems and even new diseases come and perhaps hopefully go. When I qualified as a medic in 1980, HIV was not known to exist. And after many years, when it was a fatal diagnosis, It's moved now to a situation where it's treatable, not curable yet, but manageable and compatible with a normal life expectancy. And that's a huge gain. When I qualified, the average life expectancy of a woman with breast cancer was 41 months, and 5-year survival was 35%. It's 76% 10-year survival now. So we haven't conquered breast cancer, but we're doing a lot better than we are 40 years ago, and we'll do a lot better in the future, thanks to the kind of work you're going to do in the future. So what's going to change in your careers? Lots of things. There are going to be new problems and challenges, new technologies. One of the big things that's changed in my lifetime has been the ease of access to information of all kinds. If you wanted to look up Index Medicus when I was a medical student, you went along to the library and you pulled these enormous tomes down trying not to let them fall on your head because they were hugely weighty. And nowadays you sit at a computer and tap a few times and it's all there for you. That's all new, but there's now so much data out there that it almost gets in the way of real intelligence. And we're going to need new techniques like artificial intelligence, I barely know how to say the words, that are going to help us in the future, but these will become bread and butter to you in some form or another. So I don't know what the new technologies will be, I can't say, and I don't know what the problems are going to be. And the key thing for you is to be resilient in being able to face all of those. And that brings me on to some of the things that won't change in your lifetimes, because some key principles will remain the same. A key one is that you should become a lifelong learner. Just as you've been learning during the pandemic, for the rest of your career, you need to commit yourself to always being curious, always to asking questions, always to striving to do things better. And of course, just as you should always be a learner, so too you should always be a teacher, teaching your colleagues, teaching students, sharing your experiences, which will be extremely valuable, and thereby encouraging future generations of students. The second thing that won't change is the need to never compromise on your core values. Never compromise on your own integrity or your own honesty or your own willingness to go the extra mile. And that has all kinds of meanings in science. Can we reproduce our experiments well? Has someone perhaps done an experiment poorly and not reported it in that way? So scientific integrity is at the heart of everything we do. The third is the need to strive to work or to continue to work in areas that really do matter. What you're going to do is really important, and it's a great thought at the start of every day to get you out of bed that what you're doing is vital to all of us in so many ways. From here, you will follow many different paths. Some of you will go on to further PhD study in Liverpool or elsewhere. Some of you will go back, those who are intercalating back into your primary degree. Some of you will go on to careers in industry or business or whatever. The only thing I would say is wherever you go, do enjoy your career. You've worked hard for it. You should enjoy your work and your career. So let's all celebrate today. Let's thank your family and your friends who got you here. The pandemic has made us all truly appreciate our loved ones and the experiences and the memories we made together. So I'd like to take a moment to celebrate the role that your loved ones, many of whom are here today as your guests, have had in your success. You may be the ones who've gone through the course, but in many cases they've been with you all the way, shared your ups and your downs, and they've struggled with you and have offered you support and personal sacrifice. So for them too, this is a day to celebrate. So can I invite the graduates to applaud your family and friends for everything they've done for you. And we should also thank your lecturers and your teachers, some of whom are here today, who provided you with the training and the support to become practical, innovative, and resilient in your chosen career with all the skills and qualities that are required to be successful, not just in today's workplace, but actually in tomorrow's when we don't quite know what we're going to need. So we hope that today is a day to enjoy a return to this great city for many of you, and for you and your guests to receive a warm welcome from the university. We hope that Liverpool will always feel like a home to you whenever you return. It may have been home to you, so many of you, before you came to university. Maybe you've decided to stay here. But if you have gone away, we hope it'll always be a place where you come back to and feel a warm glow towards, and where you've made friends and memories that will last a lifetime. Our Victoria building, that's the red brick one with the clock tower, which you saw on the video earlier on, is now a beautiful and iconic gallery and museum. And no doubt it'll feature in many graduation photographs today. So as a student, you've walked past that building very often, I'm sure. I don't know if you've ever noticed a plaque on it, which carries the motto of the university. And the motto of the university is, "For the advancement of learning and the ennoblement of life." And that's the foundation of the university. That's what guides us in all that we do. Our aim is to inspire and engage and enable every one of you to fulfill your potential by raising your awareness of what you're able to do, by helping you to challenge barriers and providing opportunities for you. You have certainly advanced your learning, and you have and you will continue to ennoble life by your work. You've been stretched to think beyond the textbook, the lecture theatre and the laboratory, and you've been encouraged to apply that knowledge to the world around you. And I'm confident that your University of Liverpool education has enabled you to realise just how far you can go and provided you with the skills you need to get there. But we haven't tapped that at all yet. That's what you're going to have to do for the rest of your lives. Our university has a long and successful history of graduating inspiring students just like you, who go on to do truly fantastic things. You now join that community of talented past graduates. It's a fundamentally important part of the university family, which supports our students in lots of ways, and maybe you've experienced some of that in your time here. People from outside coming in to act as tutors in tutorials, or giving lectures, or offering workplace placements. And we hope that you, like so many of our past students, will stay in touch with us and will help us and help guide and support our future students, and to broaden their horizons by your experiences. Because it's through you that the university is known. You are our greatest ambassadors, and through your achievements and your careers, you'll become the role models that inspire future generations of graduates. Despite the challenges and difficulties you've faced, I hope you'll all remember many happy and joyful moments during your time at the University of Liverpool. Not that any of you have ever spent a late night at the RAS or anywhere like that. So never forget how important you are to the university. You are the heart of the university. Without you, the university would be nothing except lecture theatres, tutorial rooms, and even just a pile of red bricks. You are vitally important to everything that goes on here. And when we work together, the university becomes a place where ideas are formed, friendships made, where lives are changed. When we work together as staff and as students, then education becomes truly transformational, and I hope you've experienced some of that. So, on behalf of the whole university, I'd like to thank all of you for everything you've achieved while you've been here, and to wish you good luck and every success in your future. Thank you very much. And I now invite Professor Chris Sanderson, who's Head of Molecular Physiology and Cell Signaling Department, to present graduates from our class of 2021.
Pro Vice-Chancellor, it gives me tremendous pleasure to present to you the following graduates from the class of 2021. Thank you. Bahram Saeed. Anish Vijay Patel. Alexander Heaney. Mohammed Al-Rabi. Dhruv Gaur. James Alexander Bull. Rohan Sood. Havia Singh. Piyush Bitan. Joseph Fisher. Megan Georgia David. Sorry. Alice Emily Bailey. Isabel Catherine Bailey. Georgia Nicole Smythe. Callum Porrick Kinch. Danielle Ramoli. Jack Smith. Lee Jeng Sao. Charles Edward Arthur Extall. Michael James George. Hannah Cahill. Catherine Ellen Lind Gill. Alexandra Bagshaw. Lauren Christie McClure. Kathleen Elizabeth Marston. Ahmed El Batal. Olivia Farrow. Ruben Vasey Smith. Oscar Eddington. Frank George Preston. Peter James Ivan Cox. Pavel Sokal. Matthew Cleary. Habib Hassan. Hilary Shepherd. Leila Miriam Damani. Vishwangi Dugi. Molly Mitchell. Fareen Hamed. Kieran Higginson. Finlay Milton. Mohammed Arish Mustafa. William Michael John Jacobs. Glenn James Munday. Megan Gemmell. Charlotte Rebecca Eva. Karina Chidora Ekbusi. Cameron James Lake. Mark Dominic Gurrell. Louis Philip Woodford. Megan Watson. Megan Jean Cox Pridmore. Amy Louise Bennett. Anika Najir Ali. Elizabeth Catherine Owens Latimer. Emily Louise Thomas. Mohammed Tanvir San. Mohammed Sahad Ali. Lucy Elizabeth Brown. Lucy Gill. Emma Curry. Matthew Aitkins. Bryony Rogers. Lucy Elizabeth Tonkinson. Andrew Smith. Amber Hughes. Vanya Dimitrova Basilova. Joy Isabel Slater. Lauren Rachel McGuinness. Hello, Fawn Roberts. Catherine Elizabeth Gorm. Emma Malia. Jack William Lloyd Weston. Lauren Bagshaw. James Michael Hu Jing Tsung. Keith Purcell. John Bueno. James Graham Philip Keane. Alexandra Jane Cooper. Anusha Yuganathan. Linos Haft Jones. Sean Young. Lolwa Al-Ashash. Paisley Fogg. Lucia Alexandra Krojan. Mariam Shahid. Georgia Chloe Duffy. William George Tench. Andrew Bailiff. Emily Coral Isaacs. Chloe Louise Liddeth. Georgia Wells. Lydia Wang. Robin Wells, sorry. Olivia Williams. Mina Camille Valerico. Matthew David Boyle. Umar Jawad Islam. Amelia Collette. Lydia Jade Tucker. Hannah Coleman. Oriella Kotsiri. Sarah Amy Boardman. Sarah Tetlow.
So congratulations to all of you. I hope it's a great day for you. I hope you're going to go somewhere to celebrate afterwards. My own daughter graduated here about 4 years ago, so I always bring her up and say, tell me what I should say to these people. And I say, well, who was giving the speech at your graduation? She says, don't know. What did he or she talk about? Don't remember. Say, your graduation is a bit of a blur, isn't it? You don't remember much about it. Oh, no, she says, it was brilliant. So I hope you have a brilliant day too, because you've deserved it. So wherever you end up for the rest of the day, have a good time. Congratulations, and let's congratulate our graduates for one last time. So the last thing for me to do is to formally close the ceremony, and that includes a Latin prayer. Now, since many of you may not have spoken Latin in any recent times, I'll translate it as we go through it. So, I formally declare this congregation for the celebration of our graduates closed. Salve sit Universitas Nostra, may our university prosper, quod precantes consergamus, and thus praying, let us all stand together. Thank you very much.
Well done again, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Congratulations. Well done.